right, exposure. Let's talk about it real quick. I honestly woke up today after doing a lot of research the night before because I can't sleep. I have had like 3 different ways of like determining exposure that I kind of cycled through ever since I first started doing video production. Let me just lay them all out real quick so that I can then segue that into like the new way that I kind of do things now that I think isn't really popular on either YouTube or social media, because it's just specific to me, and if it would help anybody, cool, but you know, like, we'll get into the details. If you want to expose properly on your camera, you're probably going to try and, let's just say someone told you to use zebras and use the zebras to find that clipping point in your highlights. That's great. I just don't think that is reliable because sometimes highlights are going to clip no matter what. So that's not like a good way of testing it. The second way is to use those same zebras and try and find an expose for skin tones. Now, the skin tone values that they try to give you, and if you go on Sony's website, I think it's somewhere between 47 and 52 for S-Log3, and if you're shooting a Rec 709 on any camera, it's gonna be around 50, right? But for lighter skin tones, it's gonna be around 55. But that's just details, right? If you wanna expose properly for skin tones, that's assuming that you have a light source pointed at you, like I do right now. If your subject is just existing in an environment where there's light not directly pointed at them, that's a dedicated source, then that is also unreliable. Third way is to have an external monitor and monitor the IRE levels via false color. That is the most exact way of doing it. It's really reliable, but here's the problem. Not all of us have monitors. So I was thinking, hey, after looking at my grade cards, what's the best way of determining what my exposure should be? Well, if you have these on you, these are great because it gives you an idea of where black, white, and gray are. But let's just say you didn't have these, which would suck because you're kind of dependent on these for color balance. But let's just assume you don't have them and you're able to get your white balance correct and all this other stuff. I would say if you park your zebras on your Sony camera, for instance, or if you have a Nikon or a Canon, just go on their proprietary websites and go and look up where your middle point is on your log curve, right? But on Sony, it's like 47 to 52, depending on the skin tone or what shade of gray it is. I would say if you could find a middle point, right, that middle ground inside of where your video clip is, that is gonna be ultimately where the contrast gets pushed out from, right? So if you could find where contrast gets pushed out from, because that's what you're doing when you default that log curve into Rec 709 and inevitably add contrast, then you're setting yourself up for success because the image is gonna be developed from that middle point. So if I know where this middle point is, or I could train my eye to see it, then I'll have an easier time. If I don't know where my exposure should be based off of highlights, and I don't have a good skin tone to work off of because I don't have a dedicated light source, I could find the middle of that image and just visualize the contrast being added, because contrast, the way it's calculated is it's just from the middle point, you're pushing the highlights and shadows away from each other. I might sound crazy, but I did a couple tests and it did work. And I think this is the new way I'm gonna do things when I don't have a monitor attached to my camera. Because let's face it, we're not gonna always have a monitor, but that's like the most reliable way I've found, especially when you're in an evenly lit place like a gym, when you're outside, or if you're in a room like this. So cool. Thanks for listening to me for a second. I will be back when I have something else to share. You guys have a wonderful day.